Len Robbins. So we'll get some tourney analysis and maybe touch on some other things with the great Len Robbins. Literally, it's great to see you.
No one has ever looked at me and said those words, so I'm a little humbled and flattered. And although I will say, you guys set me up perfectly, because when I logged in, the last thing I heard you say was disparaging remarks. And then you said, up next is Len Robbins. All right, well, we've set the parameters for this show.
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
All right, very special good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Defo Show. Thursday edition, that means we're going to play the Trivia Challenge, your chance to win stuff right here on the show. That's always great. I'm Jeff DeForest. That is Mike Lubie Lubitz. The usual technical snafus coming in as one show goes out, the other show goes in. And I see Lubie finagling, but you missed the boat, Lubie. I know you were busy trying to figure out how to get this thing on the air, but where's the Masters music? They teed off already. Got to get into a little bit of a Masters mood here. I finally got my pool entries in just before the deadline. In fact, the gentleman who's running the pool was kind enough to go ahead and extend the deadline. Is Nick Navarre still on a warpath here in Broward County? We originate from South Florida, where at one time we had a sheriff that was such a maniac. There you go. Now I feel better. I feel that inner peace coming. I feel little hummingbirds hovering over the azaleas. Is that right? That's a big controversy there at Augusta National. It turns out, Lubie, never let the facts get in the way of a good story. How are you, by the way? Are you okay? You seem...
just not finding us on our main YouTube channel, our main Facebook channel. That's my problem. But we are on, and nice to see whoever is seeing us at this moment. The Masters, yes, it is. I guess it's teeing off as we speak, or it's teed off already. So look at you.
I'm thrilled. I couldn't be any happier. As a fan of golf, I'll watch obscure tournaments. Not necessarily all 4 rounds when you're talking about some of the lesser events, but definitely would be riveted and glued to any kind of television screen and or any kind of news that is coming out of the Masters, especially since you're alive on the very first day. Got to see how your guys do. I had to make some really rough choices in terms of picking players. In the pool that I'm in, where you pick 7 players, you get the aggregate score. The lists are comprised in a fashion where you're getting players of a similar ranking. And so you can't have all the top guys, and you have to make some really difficult choices. I ended up, Lubie, is this a giant mistake? I believe is a first-time starter. One of the guys that I ended up picking for my team was Maverick McNeely. Are you familiar with Maverick McNeely?
Never heard the name, no. Not at all.
Kid's making a big splash in the game of golf this year, but does he get squashed in the face? Does he feel like he got hit in the face by a Larry Holmes jab right at the outset of the fight when he sees Augusta National? Is it so daunting, so imposing? The being in the Masters for the first time, and the presence, and all the guys running around in green jackets. Are there just nutbags running around in green jackets there? And by the way, isn't that kind of a strange thing? The coveted green jacket. It's a jacket that if, I don't know, you weren't around when they required. Have you ever gone to a restaurant where they required you to wear a jacket and
no.
you have one?
No. I've been to a place where you dress nice, but I've never done the thing where they give you some random person's jacket. No. Never.
It's always embarrassing. It was kind of like putting a dunce cap on and being positioned in the corner facing the wall there, as everybody was aware of the fact that, look at this jerk off. He doesn't even have a jacket. Unbelievable. But, that's the kind of jacket that if you went to a fine restaurant in New York City back in the day when there was jackets required, you might get thrown out of there. Or they might say, I'm sir, with no offensive, rationale meant here, but you can't wear that schmata in here. We're gonna have to replace it. And yet everybody wants to get a share and win a green jacket. So we'll see how it turns out. Many contenders. All of the experts are picking the chalk. Usually, what? Can you count on some nondescript European schmink to win the thing this year? The Live Tour guys, we talked about them. Scotty Scheffler is the favorite. I like all the ancillary stuff, though, that happens during the Masters. And I didn't realize this. We've been reporting this story wrong forever, have we not, Lubie? Weren't you under the impression that the reason that it was exposed that CBS was pumping fake bird noise into the telecast to enhance the idea of the natural beauty and ambiance of Amen Corner. You had Jim Nance literally frothing at the mouth as if he was Jimmy Swaggart. Never mind Jim Nance, talking and extolling the virtues of God and the beauty of nature. And you're hearing all these birds chirping. But I thought some guy called the CBS truck during the Masters and pointed out that the birds that were chirping, I mean, may as well have been pelicans. That there was no chance that they were indigenous to the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
Some Minnesota northeastern warbler or whatever is suddenly bringing an entire flock of birds to the 15th there, just to make it seem like things are more spectacular than they actually already are. I don't know. Do they need to enhance what they do there, Lubie? There are all kinds of myths, but it was actually a tournament in Louisville where CBS got caught by some ornithologists who
Yeah.
realized that the birds and the bird noises that were coming from the course at Valhalla at a PGA championship could not possibly have been from Louisville or anywhere in the Louisville area, that these were birds you're more likely to find in Antarctica than you are in Louisville. And so they got busted there. And then CBS, I guess, finally came to the admission. Have they admitted it, Lubie, or are they just dodging the question?
No, I think they admitted it. I mean, you couldn't deny it. It was like science. Like the birds that make the exact noise come from somewhere else. They just wanted the ambiance and they liked the way those birds sound. It was the weirdest freaking story.
I think they should just keep ratcheting up the bird noise. So eventually it sounds like a Hitchcock movie is taking place there. And you see Tippi Hedren running out of the woods there, trying to shake off an angry flock of birds that has suddenly turned evil. But the action should be good. Certainly many contenders. The whole Live Tour thing, we don't know how those guys are going to do. I ended up taking the advice of my friend, the great Mike Jones, who is a big-time golf handicapper. One of those guys that when you just say, hey, Mike, what do you think about this? Boom. He's got in-depth analysis of everybody's swing speed and spin ratio and all this other stuff. I'm not sure how applicable any of those thoughts are when you're talking about a golf tournament, but you would think, Lubie, that there would be horses for courses, as they say in thoroughbred racing, and that certain guys play Augusta National. Well, I did just, I mean, what would you call it? Is it what do you call it when you have like a little schmear of sour cream or whatever? A doppel? Is that what it is?
Yes, that's actually the term they'll use, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, I use a doppel of research on this.
Nice.
So I'd look and I'd say, okay, this guy missed a cut 2 years in a row. Forget about it. I'm not using him. So we'll see how it turns out. But Scheffler, the favorite. A lot of people expecting Colin Morikawa. He hasn't won in 500 days to do something in this tournament. Rory McIlroy is always now second consideration to Scheffler in any odds configuration that you see to win the tournament. He's certainly been good this year. He's got 2 wins. He's never done that before, where before April he has 2 wins already in the bank on the PGA Tour. So certainly playing very representative golf and have to rank among the contenders. Oberg is always Ludwig Oberg is always a very popular choice, but he's missed the cut, I believe, at the last 2 Masters. So that's Elimination City as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. Does he make amends, Lubie? Do you have any thought whatsoever on picking a winner in this thing? Or are you going to go I don't know that he's going to win it, but I'm praying that this information about Brooks Koepka locking himself in solitary confinement, basically, and only hitting a 7-iron so that he could master the short game that's necessary to come out with a win in the Masters, and that his competitive spirit has it been so diluted by the Live Tour money that these guys just don't care anymore. What do you think?
Oh God. I don't know.
Did you see John Rahm? I was talking about this interview yesterday with John Rahm. He literally looked like he was sedated. Like he was on a dilaudid drip. Like he could have given a flying on. Well, you talk about the money. It's like, come on, John. You used to be the most competitive guy out there. You were like insisting you were going to shatter every record in golf. And now you really don't give a flying one. Because, I think he was even wearing a turban. I'm not even sure as he did the interview. So we'll see what happens with that. But it'll be a fascinating 4 days. And I still will never forget when I had money on Francesco Molinari. And he's lined up, I guess it was 10 or 11, somewhere in there. And he's with a couple of other guys. The tournament was pushed forward several hours because of impending rain. And you started to see some of this lousy weather come in. And that was the year that Tiger Woods. What year was that? Was that 2018, Lubie, where Tiger Woods actually came out of nowhere and won the
Yeah,
Masters?
it's funny. It is now a long time ago already.
Yeah.
Like,
A while back, but yeah, I remember I'm in contention there at 25-1 with Molinari. He's leading the tournament. Next thing you know, like, oh my God, how far into the woods is that? And it was far enough to open the door for Tiger, who then had this dramatic victory, and everybody thought Tiger was going to use that as a springboard and win even more majors and surpass Big Jack, but it never happened. Now, they don't dig up the body of Arnie Palmer, do they, for the ceremonial first shot?
yeah.
Did you see? I missed the opening of this thing today, getting ready for the show. That was always real rough, and we were on a campaign for many years on the air to stop forcing Arnie to play that first round of the tournament because we knew it was going to be a disaster. I mean, he could barely even stand up, the poor man. Casey Martin probably had a better chance of traversing the course without a golf cart, and Arnie would shoot like an 87 on the front nine, and everybody's paying tribute to the great Arnie Palmer, who was deserving of all of it, was he not?
Yes.
I mean, imagine you're the best in the game, and then all of a sudden, Big Jack comes along. Big freaking Jack.
Yeah.
And you're looking at this guy and going, nice crew cut there, Jack. But you know what? He may as well have been, I mean, the Barry Bonds of the era. I don't know. I don't want to imply that Big Jack was doing steroids, but man, he was out driving everybody by 50 yards, had a great short game. Here's Arnie Palmer. He's on his way to a magic carpet ride to being the greatest ever. And the next thing you know, here's another guy in his path. And then, of course, Tiger came along. Looked like he was going to shatter Jack's record for major championships. And even though he came close, he's still 3 behind, and he's never going to pass him now. That's for sure. So we have that to look forward to. And that got underway today. NBA, some wild stuff last night, Lubie. Did you see any of the return of Luka to Dallas? I thought that was pretty cool.
I
all
did.
the way around. That was a big story. Now, what did you think? 31 points in the first half, 45 for the game.
Yeah, he played out
Dallas loses. It seemed like all of his teammates warmly embraced him, both before and after. There was a lot of affection there. Luka was teared up. Is he happy to be out of there and be a Laker, or will he always regret the fact that it's Nico Harrison? And where is Nico Harrison, Lubie?
Yeah, exactly. If you're firing GMs.
Gone without a trace. Guys are getting fired, and they're making more headlines than this. Nico Harrison, who orchestrated what will turn out to be. I mean, we don't know. Anthony Davis played last night. I thought it was pretty cool. Anthony Davis is a guy that you have to respect. Do you not?
No, he's a good player. He's just his whole career has been wrought with injury.
Warm embrace, though, for Luka. He could have easily just shined him, right? Thinking, wait a minute, I was there with LeBron and got traded for you, and there might be some resentment there. None whatsoever. I guess if you're making $50-60 million a year, I mean, would you mind being traded? If you were making $50 million this year, would you mind being traded to another streaming service? No, of course not.
I mean, for them,
you'd line up with Joe Rogan at this point.
I mean, not for me, I wouldn't care. But for them, they want to win championships. And I don't think the Lakers are going to win a championship, but the Lakers feel a lot closer than the Mavs right now. Like, I mean, especially once Kyrie got hurt. I don't know. It feels like you're AD. Yeah, you're happy you're getting paid, but you're sort of like, what? Like, what happened?
Well, and Dallas is what? They're in the 10th spot in the West. Phoenix got eliminated yesterday. So another failed big three. That just firmly validates the idea that that's not necessarily any panacea for success. Andy says that Nico Harrison is going to take over the Denver job after the Denver guy got fired.
And get rid of Jokic.
And then orchestrate a Jokic trade. Maybe he's just a bag man, a hatchet man for the mob. Who the hell knows? But anyway, so that was interesting. Phoenix gets eliminated. The Lakers end up winning. They're in the third spot now, not firmly entrenched, though, because 3 through 8 is still open to wild juxtaposition before the playoffs roll around, and that's coming up in about a week or so. Right now, they would play Memphis. The Lakers would play Memphis in the first round. That's no small assignment. And Golden State now fell into the 7th spot. Golden State, everybody's darling since the Jimmy Butler trade, fell into the 7th spot. So they find themselves in the play-in situation, which is obviously far less favorable than not having to go through that. Mm-hmm. And as a 7th seed, you would have the opportunity to lose a game and still come back and make it into the actual first round of the playoffs or the best of 7 series. But still, that was constituted, as the reporting was, a major shakeup in the standings last night. I don't know how major it was, but the one thing that did get established is that Phoenix, you're out after looking like they had assembled at least a team that should be somewhere in the field. No, out of the playoffs altogether. And the Heat played last night. They lost to the Bulls 119-111. The significance there is they could be playing the Bulls in the play-in tournament.
Yeah.
Both are sitting there at 9-10. And the Heat losing last night, not necessarily a great indicator of their future as a playoff contender. Tyler Hero had 30 points in the game. NHL is kind of interesting also. If you're looking at these first-round matchups as they stand today, Lubie, very, very weird. And now we've been talking about this a little bit because I don't feel any guilt anymore about not being able to explain to everybody in any kind of clear fashion the way that the NHL playoffs especially are assembled with the division leaders, the wild cards, and all of that. Do you have any idea what the circumstances are that dictate the positioning that you would have in the playoffs? I have no clue.
I don't understand it. There's divisions, but then they have the leaders separated, like from the I don't understand how it works. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have no idea.
Right, and now we're familiar with the whole idea of 1 versus 8, but we don't know who those teams are going to be. The Cats, though, if they were to defend their Stanley Cup championship in the opening round, as it stands today, Lubie, and things could change, few games left, like 3-4 games left.
Yeah,
would open up against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh, Jesus.
A heated rivalry in the opening round. Now, I think after being to the Stanley Cup Finals a couple of times, you've seen some of these rivalries and I guess, acrimony between the teams as they get to the postseason kind of elevated a little bit. But I don't know. Can you get any more insane than opening up against the Tampa Bay Lightning if you happen to be the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers? Not playing particularly well right now, even though they did manage to bounce back out of that 5-game skid and knock off the Toronto Maple Leafs, who then subsequently the next night they go into Toronto or into Tampa Bay and beat the Lightning. So those 3 teams seem to be, at least in their division, far and away the superior teams. But that's a tough opening round matchup, is it not? Also, you would have in the West, Las Vegas right now would be skating against the red-hot St. Louis Blues, who just had a 12-game winning streak snapped. So interesting, bloodbath, the NHL playoffs. And I think that just illustrates the point even more so that while you might have a very soft matchup, 1 versus 8, if you're in the NBA, you're not necessarily getting that if you're in the NHL. You could find yourself opening round matchups in an absolute throwdown, a smackdown type of situation, and not easy to emerge from 4 series and not lose a single one of them. And players are dropping like flies along the way. So Tampa Bay Panthers opening round matchup, kind of curious one. If things play out as they stand today. All right, we want to give you guys a chance to prove your sports knowledge. I would imagine this will be inundated with a lot of Masters questions as we bring in the master of all trivia, and that is one Dave Gurgly, the handsome one himself. David, how are you?
Wonderful. Sorry about your Houston loss. You needed that, right?
Yeah, that was tough. Up 12 with the ball, about 9 minutes to go, and you're sitting there saying, okay, take it up to 15, please. Right? Press my heart 8. Put it up to $35. And they have a terrible possession, end up giving up a bucket at the other end, I think, on a fast break. And before you know it, that 12-point lead evaporated down to 3.
Yeah, as a former basketball coach, from a strategic point of view, I'm looking at them. The whole second half, most of their offense started and stayed just past half court.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm wondering, the big lefty was doing good inside, move the ball inside, then kick it out. But then they ended up the shot clock going down all the time, and they're still in their half court, not getting good shots. And I thought that, that was very poorly coached.
It was ugly, yeah. I mean, Kelvin Sampson, with his coaching edge and experience, certainly didn't manage the game very well. Now the players go out there; they're the ones that were hoisting the bricks.
Right.
But how you don't get off a shot with 20 seconds to go? Wouldn't I mean, no matter what, even if you didn't have I don't think they had a timeout to call before to huddle up before that possession. I'm not sure, but whether they did or they didn't, even if you're just screaming, wouldn't you be yelling, "Get it inside"?
Yes.
Plus, you want to get up a shot quickly. So you at least, even if you miss and fail to get a rebound and knock it back in or go to the stripe, you want to have 15 seconds or so left. So you might be able to wrangle your way in there off a couple of missed free throws at the other end of the court, but yeah, nothing. I mean, no shot whatsoever. And then the guy goes up in the air, and the next thing you know, Clayton is flying at him, and he has to rethink the idea of hoisting that shot up there. And sure enough, he drops it on the floor, and the ball game's over. That was insane. Tough loss. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to lose in that fashion. But you know what's great? I'm in a Masters pool as of today.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I got one for you.
yeah.
At plus 5,000. Will Zalatoris.
He's on my buddy's list. I entered with another guy, and he used Zalatoris.
3 top 10 finishes at the Masters. I don't know if he'll
he's
win
good,
it,
the kid.
but,
Yeah. Horses for courses. All right. Very good, Dave Gurgles-Gurley. All right. We're going to solicit some players here. As you can dial us up if you'd like to play. We have a variety of gift certificates we give away, depending on what your location is. And yet you can't go wrong. You're either going to Landlubbers if you're here in town, or Texas Roadhouse if you're from out of the state, out of the country. They're international, now rated the #1 casual dining chain of restaurants anywhere in the world, eclipsing, even though most people would snicker and say Olive Garden. Of course, they're better than Olive Garden, but Olive Garden was given that consideration, maybe for other reasons. I don't know what they what the credentials had to be, but certainly it's family friendly. So that would be it's dirt cheap, isn't it? Olive Garden.
I don't know. I don't go.
Haven't
Not
been
about
to one
dirt
time.
cheap. Nothing's dirt cheap, but Italian, it's cheaper, I guess.
Is it even Italian food? Is it considered Italian food? I mean,
It's like fast food Italian.
I haven't been in years, man. It used to be a big thing. Did they have unlimited salad also, or was it
Yes.
just the breadsticks?
They did unlimited salad, unlimited soup, unlimited breadsticks.
Was this because they were in an all-you-can-eat situation with the regular entrees?
Oh no.
They wanted you to fill up on it, kind of like the Brazilian steakhouses, where the last thing you want to do is hit the salad bar, and they put all that great stuff out there. So by the time whoever comes around with the meats, they look at you and you go, "Oh no, you're waving a guy off as you're spinning up into your hat." All right, we'll have the trivia challenge. Dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Dave Gurgles-Gurgly going to be firing off the questions. We'll come back with the trivia challenge in a moment. Now that.